What would I write down for oxygen gas? Good. Good. O2. And why? No.
Because it's a gas and you have to have two.
No, there's some gases that don't have two, but some of them do, some of them don't.
Has like gin on it.
Yeah, he's got exactly. It's if it has gin at the end, it's by itself. It's like pairs of shoes in your closet. Oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen. Okay, and then the other ones are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Okay, so you write O2. You have to write O2 because that's what it is. When I breathe in oxygen, is O2 molecule. I'm breathing that in.
Will it
Not.
be like
Go ahead.
in the quiz today? Will it be like that, or will
Nope.
it like
This
the
is
O2?
stuff we learned yesterday. We took about 15 minutes yesterday and talked about. So I definitely wouldn't be quizzing you over that. It'll be on the test later on. Okay. So then I go plus, and then what would I do?
So the NA.
Okay. Does that need a 2?
No.
Okay. There's only 7, and they're up in the upper right-hand corner other than hydrogen. Then I go ahead and put my arrow, and then I get sodium oxide. So what do I need to do to determine the formula for sodium oxide?
NaO2.
Well, but what do I have to do to determine what my subscript's going to be if I have any?
Oh, what the charge is.
Yeah, I got to do the charges. So it's plus 1 and minus 2.
Na2.
So Na2 and then O2.
Oh,
Not O2. People like to put O2.
Na is 1.
Yeah.
Only, oxygen's only
Oxygen is
2 of them when it's by itself.
Let's see.
So you don't write the O2. There's a tendency to think since there's 2 here, I got to write the... What decides the numbers of subscripts is if we need to increase the value of one of the charges so that it can equal out. So I need 2 plus 1 so it becomes a plus 2 so it can equal out. Now all I have to do is balance it. It's pretty easy now. So what do I do to balance this? Well,
You put
I'm going to do it by sight. So if I put a 2 here, that balances out the sodiums, but then the oxygens aren't balanced. Because there's 2 here and 1 there. So I'll put a 2 here. Now I have 2 oxygens and 2
4
oxygens.
Na.
Then I need to go back here and change that to a 4. Okay? So at times you've got to go back and change it. And that's what we do. Sometimes you just got to go back and change it. That's why pencil's really good to use with these. So that's it. That's all you do. So that's what you're doing today is that balancing part. Okay? All right. Now, let's do one a little bit easier than that. Now this is a really difficult one to do, and so we'll spend a little time doing it. So I'm going to put a charge above each one of these, like you guys would do. Okay. So there's nothing by itself. Everything has a charge. Now I just have to go through and balance it out. So I'm going to put Al.
NO3.
Yep, I'm going to put Al and NO3 side by side. And I know that nitrate's a -1 and aluminum's a +3. So what do I have to do?
Close and open parenthesis 3.
Right?
Yeah.
Some of you guys still struggle with this. So NO3 in itself is a -1. And this is a +3. So that's why you gotta have 3 of them. It's kind of like balancing reactions, but you're balancing charges. Next thing I do,
CAS.
CAS. They both have same charge, but opposite, so they're fine. Next one, +2 and -1. So I put Ca, NO3. Gotta have 2 of these,
NO2.
right? So hopefully balancing kind of helps you balancing charges now, because it's really the same thing. It's really not much difference. The only thing that's different is there's a plus or a minus in front. That's all
Why
it's
is there a 2 behind the NO3?
here.
Because it's
Yeah.
a plus 2 charge.
Because this one's a +2 and this is a -1. So to keep up and make it equal and opposite, I need to. So this is a -1 and this is a +2. So I have that 2. And then this last one is, remember we got a 3 and a 6, what you have to do, right?
AL2 S3.
Because you got to get them back both to 6. So that comes up quite often, okay? It's kind of a repetitive process. Let me get- You've already started taking yours, right?
Do we go to Gabby's?
Yeah. So, when we balance this, I'm going to go ahead and list these down below to help you that like to do it this way so that you can see it. Because a lot of times one like this can be confusing when you see all the ones you have to try to balance. So I'm going to put, if you get to one today that you can't balance by just looking at it, then it's probably a good idea to do this, even though it takes a little bit longer. Would rather you take a little bit longer and get it right than to get it wrong. So there's 1 and 3, 1, 1. And over here we've got 2, 2, 1, 3. So I'm just going to start with aluminum right away, and I'll put a 2 in front of that. And that makes that 2, and that 2 times 3 is 3 here, would give me 6. Now I'll go to my nitrate, my next one. I'll just go down the row. So I got 6 NO3s, and over here I have 2. So I want to get 6 of those, so I'm going to put a 3 in front. When I do that, it gives me 3 calciums and 6 NO3. So the first 2 are balanced, and then now look at it, it's really nice. We've got 1 of each of these,
3.
and these are same 3 values, so then I got to put a 3 in front. It gives me 3, and 3, I am balanced. So 2, 3, 3, 1. Would it be? Okay. And then the last thing is that I didn't get a chance to really go over with you.
Just a calculator.
When you look at this, we're going to do the same thing, but it's kind of not, you don't have your pluses. So this is what I would do. I would go ahead and go calcium, and then I'd write Ca. And then I go water, so it reacts with water. So it's on the reactant side, so I'll go H2O. Okay? Solid calcium hydroxide will be formed. So if it's produced, these 2 things are produced, I would put Ca and OH together, and I'd look their charges up, and this is a +2 and -1. And then I'd put hydrogen gas. So how should I show hydrogen gas?
2.
H2. So if you look at this, I've got calcium, reacts with water, and you get solid, tells you about the state of matter it is. So you don't really have to worry about the solid. I got solid calcium hydroxide, which is this. And then I've got hydrogen gas. But the problem with this, it's not balanced the charges. So I have to have 2 of these, so that becomes a -2. And now I can balance it. So this one looks kind of difficult to balance, but I'll put CaHO. And down over here I'll put CaHO. And I'll count 1, 2, 1. Here I've got 1, and then I got 2, and 2 is 4 hydrogens. So I got 4 there.
2.
I got 2 oxygens. So I have H's in 2 spots. So then what do I need to do to balance this out?
Take
I got double my hydrogens and double my oxygen. So if I put a 2 here, that does everything. And now it's balanced. So that's the very toughest part of doing these problems that you'll have is one that's written out. It just tells you, hey, when this reacts with this is what we're going to get out, kind of as a sentence, and then you just transfer it into that formula.
Why is there a 4 for hydrogen?
Here, over here,
On both sides.
yeah, so here's 2 H's,
Oh,
and then
plus
here's 2 H's. So when they're 2 different spots, it complicates things, so you just have to recognize that.
So how do you write the numbers in front, or do you write anything in front of those two?
No, you don't have to, because I got my 4 with the 2 here and a 2 there.
But you don't have to write anything in front.
Nope, because this side's had just 2 hydrogens with the water.
Okay.
And so I have to get this side to equal out, and so I have to have more waters to do that. Okay. So when you guys are done with your quiz, you can take and work on that assignment I gave you yesterday. And I won't have it due today, because I just think I want you guys to take your time on it and do a good job. And you'll have you guys turn that in tomorrow. Okay? And then we'll talk about a little bit about recycling, reuse, reduce and rethink, and just some scenarios on those type of things tomorrow. Okay, give your quiz back to you, go over it, and so you don't really need anything out to take the quiz. All you need is a pencil or a pen, because you don't have to use your periodic table or ion sheet for anything.
You have the charges.
Yeah.
You don't have to balance any charges out. Everything's balanced out for you. Okay.